All right, let's go. Let's do this. This is not the video we had planned today. Oh, I'm in a fine mood this morning, so this should be good. Let's see what we got. Can I even see the chat today at all? Let's find out. Hey, Colin says Reinhard Greer and Mikla are all skating today. Yeah, that's not a big surprise yet. Craig, maybe the Cats have a fetish for handshake lines in away games. And yeah, we've been getting killed in the draws. No doubt about that. Coot says, I'm not going to get too worried. This team knows how to rebound, especially after a loss, after a shutout. It's just frustrating seeing them dominate Carolina for 3 straight games and put up a stinker. That is for sure. David, how you doing? You're selling all your cat stuff? Very cool. Icy. Chopper. I'm with you there. Sports short, all for performance. I agree with that. Hey, Colby. You placed 500 to win 4K on the Canes. Poor kid. Steven, yeah, they did the thing and not the good thing. Exactly. David. Oh, there was this one time. I said last night in the recap, I felt like they're my kid that's not paying attention. So years ago, this was 12, 13 years ago, maybe even 14 years ago. I was fishing right down the house. We were living somewhere else. And I had a bucket with some squid in it. You'd have the box frozen squid, you put it in the bucket, the water defrosts it, and you fish. It's middle of summer. It's like 90-something degrees every day. I started pouring. I came home, and I ran into the house. I said, Kyle, do me a favor. Get the squid out of the truck. Get the squid out of the truck for me because now it stopped raining. I'm soaked. So he goes out there and gets the squid out of the truck. And that was Saturday. Now, Sunday went by. Monday was a holiday. So Tuesday, we'd had this long heat wave, 95 degrees every day. Opened up the door to take the packages to the post office, and the truck just stunk like the most disgusting, putrid stink you could ever imagine. Kyle had taken the squid out of the truck, but what he did was take the squid out of the bucket of squid water and left the bucket of squid water in the truck for the 3 days to bake in the heat. Took me 7 cans of Lysol to get that truck smelling even moderately acceptable. $50 in Lysol. And this moment with the Panthers last night just reminded me of that, in the sense of how did you get it in your head that you could, how did it not make sense to you that maybe we should come out tonight and just blow them away with our energy because we learned our lesson? Well, what happened with Edmonton last year? Just absolutely mind-numbingly perplexing. That and especially after having done it against Toronto in the last series in Game 6. Just like you expect some modicum of progress in terms of like 1 + 1 is 2. So that the next time 1 + 1 is 2. You don't have to write it out on a piece of paper. You already know. Like, what has to happen to this team for them to learn the lesson when you've got a team at home with your foot on their throat, you press down. So I'm in a fine mood this morning. Trey says they're always going to believe their own hype. It's happened enough that it's not just going to be a lesson they learn. It's just part of who they are. I can't even disagree. Coot says, Sturm wasn't done any favors being put on wing when he's a center, but honestly, we're better off with him on the bench, fresh legs, and I didn't see him skating on fire like how Greer does. No, that should have been Sam Miskevich out there. Because, and I talk about this in the members podcast today, if you have Sam Miskevich out there last night, when you have to take Boquist off the top line because he's not playing well, you could have put Verhaeghe with Barkov and Rodriguez and moved Sam Miskevich up with Bennett and Tkachuk and put Boquist back on the fourth line. Playing Sturm last night, in my opinion, was a big. It had an effect on us not getting on how things went. It's not the whole thing, but to me, it had an effect. Jay Miami was really hoping to have at least a week off, right? Green, you think Bob is dealing with a right shoulder issue? I don't know. I'm not arguing, but I don't know what you're seeing there. But, nobody's perfect at this time of the year anyway, right? Colby. Yeah, IDK says also never put Sturm in the lineup again, right? Pacharo, no, unfortunately, I don't think it's that. I think they just have a habit of not closing things out at home unless they absolutely have to, like a game 7, Steven says, it irritated me that Benny said they know what to do and it's an easy fix. And how come they couldn't do it mid-game? Thank you. Come out the third period. You've played 2 mediocre periods. You're down 1 goal. All you got to do is go out there and expend all that energy in the third period, finish this team up. Just very irritating. Yeah, Bob, definitely part of the only reason we beat Toronto. That's for sure. Trey. Yeah, no, I know. That was. It looked good on paper. Talking about Sturm. Hey, thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, bud. Remember, for 15 months, have the Panthers ever swept the series? The only series sweep we have wasn't even a sweep because it was the 4 games against Carolina, but it took 5.5 games worth of hockey to get the 4-game sweep. Michael, yeah, we want Sam. I hope so. Hey, Colin. Colby, I don't think it'll be like with what Edmonton beat us 8-1 in game 4. This game yesterday, Carolina put all their effort into it. We played like ass, and it was still just a 1-0 game. So I still feel pretty confident we should get this done in 5. It's just indescribably frustrating that they didn't just finish this last night. Trey says, same reason Mike Tyson couldn't flip the switch against Buster Douglas. Mindset is everything. David, yeah, we lose our shit. You want to win, right? We went through a lot of losing, right? Yeah, and missing Reinhart and Mikkola. Hopefully they're going to be okay. Like, I don't want Reinhart out there on a bum knee, Colin, yeah, about Sturm. Yeah, no, that should have been Sam. If Greer can't go, that should be Sam Miskevich. He earned the right. Sturm has not, my opinion. IDK, yeah, the Panthers didn't play their game at all. Bad passes, passing way too much. Forecheck was ass. It's uncanny how they lay an egg in the same spot. Yeah, David saying about that Buster Douglas. Buster lost his mom before that fight, and Tyson was partying. Yeah. Simon, I thought they were going to win last night. I thought we would have learned our lesson and just finished this team off last night. So all I can say about tomorrow night is they better win tomorrow. If they don't win tomorrow, then you're going to start hearing the ghosts of Edmonton start creeping up. You think this fan base is having a moment now? Yeah, they were skating today, IDK. Chopper says, not going to lie, hated seeing how Carolina was holding our sticks the entire time. They do this thing where they tangle the players' sticks with their own and prevent the shot. Barkov was absolutely robbed there. Right. But Maurice, they talked about that with Maurice, and Maurice said that tends to happen when the forwards' feet aren't moving. So that, I got the idea Maurice was blaming our forwards for that. Sol says, I had a bad feeling about last night's game. I think we can get away with losing one of our guys, but not three. Three is a bunch. They were key guys too. Coot says the team has to come out like gangbusters next game. I mean, even Maurice wasn't happy with how they played, which means the guys definitely aren't. The best they've played is when they're angry. And that's the truth. That's the truth. Lil J says it looked bad. It looked like we felt bad and let them win it. So it wasn't so bad. I get what you're saying. Hey, Dana. Dana says, just save me, Nico, for later on in the series in case we need them, like maybe game 7. I'm more concerned about Reinhardt's knee, so we'll see. Hey, Simon. There's been no fishing. There's been no gym since last week. I'm going to try to get out there tomorrow. I'm pretty tired from this weekend. I need to get not last night, but the night before I couldn't sleep. I got like maybe 2 hours sleep. So I was running on fumes yesterday. So today I absolutely have to get a nap today. I'm wiped out. And Kyle was so stressed after the game last night that I guess he like chugged the whole Hard Mike's lemonade and woke up with a hangover and a headache. Michael says 110% Carolina desperation and Florida not wanting to end it. I think Samuel will bring life to the team and suspect Mikula will be back to provide more of a defensive presence. Yeah, I would love to see Sam Miscavige. If Greer's not ready, because it kind of looked like a rib. So Colin says, am I the only one that wanted a penalty shot for Lundell? It was borderline. You might see that get a penalty shot on a rare occasion in the regular season, but I don't think he had 2 full strides. It was close. The fact that he didn't get a shot off, though, right? Michael says Chuck is so injured. He's been so lazy and slow. This last game, he didn't look anything like how he's looked the previous games. But he's done that a couple of times. So maybe there's just certain times he's getting extra sore or not. Craig, if the dudes get injured in game 5, I'll go play. Icy says we know they love the drama. They push the envelope. Like before Edmonton, it's like, all right, but now, that's what we all said last year against Edmonton. We got PTSD. We've been abused. Al says, I wish we would finish this series because Leaf fans are calling us chokers in elimination games now. Jesus. I mean, I have no words left. I have no words left. There's just some people that are just broken, Cool. Yeah, I mean, right now I don't think we should feel the ghosts of Edmonton, but if you lose game 5, you have no choice. John, we are not sure that Mikkola and Reinhardt are good to go. I mean, Mikkola can skate, obviously, because it's just the shoulder. Reinhardt I was hoping he can get some rest. I don't really want him out there at half. If he's not ready to go Barkov, Rodriguez, Verhaeghe, Semiskevich, Bennett, Tkachuk. Maurice is overthinking it and making it more difficult on us than it needs to be. I mean, and that's the second time that Boqvist has come in and looked good the first game on the top line and then had to get moved in the middle of the next game. Katarko's, well, when was the last time the power play was really good? Well, Maurice talked about being without Reinhardt obviously has an effect. Did he go to those two defensemen before that, though? Why did Maurice go with Ekblad and Jones on the power play? It's not working. I don't understand why he suddenly did that. Trey says Carolina was the best home team in the NHL this year, so don't be shocked if this is an annoying 6 games. Oh, God. Ugh. Fly Guy says the NHL loses too much money on a 4-game series. Andres, I don't think we do. I think we're the road team no matter who we play in Edmonton or Dallas because of how we finished the season. David says it's not a conspiracy. It's not the officiating. We just played 1 bad game out of 4. Playoff hockey is hard. Hey, Robert. Oh, yeah, we're chokers in elimination. We're chokers in elimination games if we have more than a 2-game lead in the series. I guess. No, it was 3-2 against Toronto at home. It's just wild to see them because when they play that off, when they have an off night, it looks exactly the same. It's just wild. Chopper says Tkachuk fluctuates between being an absolute menace on the ice and being on absolute a liability. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the embellishment call was a joke. Robert, even you got a good laugh at that? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got nothing. Thomas, I hope Mackey's. Well, let's put it this way. If Greer can't go, I would hope Mackey would go. Or if Reinhardt can't go, like I said, put Mackey in with Bennett and Tkachuk. The dude only had 15 goals. I mean, he played a lot of games with those guys. So it says Panthers have always been bad at closing out games. Not as much rest between Carolina and Edmonton might be good. Might if we stay healthy. Rick says most Leaf fans are already full send on the Oilers bandwagon, right? Silva says I'm not going to worry unless we drop 5 and then look bad in 6. Yeah. Exactly. Coot says if they can play 4 rookies, I think Mackey will be fine. I'm getting sick of the Boqvist experience of first game back All-Stars, second game back to a pumpkin. Either guys are back or Samiskevich. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Craig brings another point. It's like Mackey definitely needs to be on the second line. Look what Stankoven is doing as a small guy rookie. Right. Maybe he'll make that change. Maybe he'll make that change. If Reinhardt's back, maybe he'll go all the way back to Barkov, Reinhardt, Verhaeghe, Samoskevich, Bennett, and Kachuk and put Rodriguez in the fourth line in place of Gadjevich or Greer if Greer's not in. Maybe he'll go back that direction. Frosty, we're just not sure yet. Mackey isn't that small. Mackey's not that small. He's not that small. I mean, he's 5'11", $180. He's not huge, but weight wise, 5'11", 180 is not. What's Stankoven? Stankoven's 5'8", 165. I mean, he's 5'8", 165. Mackey's got 3 inches and 15 pounds on him. Case. He's got 15 pounds and 3 inches on him. Al says, let's hope Dallas puts up a fight tonight. We need a good game to watch. I don't know. I think Stankoven just has had more opportunity. I think he's just had more opportunity. Just my opinion. Matthew, no, I don't think it'll affect his extension much. I don't think that'll be an issue. Chopper says Marchand was being targeted last night. It's not optimal to have him on the top line. It really works. It really works well for him to be on that third line. And that's part of the reason why we're talking about Samoskevich should have been in, because then you had roster, you had flexibility when you had to move Boquist off. Trey says Mackey's the fastest skater on the team, and it's the third round. That's got to count for something. Exactly. Now, I understand the idea of him getting bodied off the puck from time to time, but you can't body him if you can't catch him. Kenneth says Stankoven has more pressure being involved with Rantanen has come out well. Mackey's is just good, but no reason to be under the microscope. Right. Coop, that's a good point. He says, I'm surprised Maurice moved Marchand and Boquist when Nosek looked good with Barkov previously, and it would have let us keep the third line together. That's a really good point. It's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that. I guess at that point, though, then you'd be just triple. You'd just be running 3 lines, right? Because at that point, all you got left, we're going to put Sturm with Boquist and Gadjevich, I guess, could have been the fourth line. You're not going to run them out there a whole lot, but I understand your point. And yeah, Nosek really looked good with. That's a good point. It wasn't Paul Maurice's best game last night, but I understand he was under the pressure of making some decisions, and I didn't even disagree. I said it before, so I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna pretend I didn't say it. I kind of thought it was worth the chance to see if we could get Reinhart and Mikkola, the extra rest instead of having to throw them out there less than 100%. So I did agree with that. But in hindsight, the way Maurice likes to have roster flexibility, putting Sturm out there instead of Sam Miskevich, that don't make a whole lot of sense. Yeah, that's too. Craig says Mackey will shoot, not try to toe drags and let the defense surround him. Ekblad was going to give me an aneurysm last night. He did it at least twice. He might have done it 3 times. Where he gets the puck on his stick, and instead of just immediately shooting it, they're dragging over and giving Carolina just time to just lay down in front of them and take a nap. I saw one guy out there with a pillow. It was bad. And we just kept doing it. Like, even if you come out the first 2 periods and you're like, all right, boys, settle down. We're 1 goal behind. Let's play our game, play a good period. And they looked a little bit better in the 3rd period, but not by much. Not by much. Chris, yeah, the game was disappointing. Ain't that the truth? It's like going out there on a perfectly glass day, and there's just a little bit of chop in the water. It's not too clean, not too dirty, and the wind is right, and the pressure is right, and the tide is right, and you throw your line in the water, and nothing. And you're like, what? What? It's perfect. This should be easy. Who says also interesting that Maurice is running a 2-defense power play unit, which is also double shifting Tkachuk on the power play and leaving Lundell off power play 2, and having Erod on power play 1. All pray. What is that? Preach to the choir. I don't know what that's all about, unless Lundell is hurt and we don't know it. But yeah, but I noticed that they went back to double shifting Tkachuk on both power plays. Doesn't make any sense. Tkachuk is playing as well as he can, but if you pressure him right now, he doesn't have the mobility to escape like he used to. He's still clearly hurt. Kenneth says, yeah, but the toe drags look so sexy. Case says, Paul didn't do a good enough job getting the guys to adjust their play when they were clearly not generating anything. It's his job to get them to play the right way, and he was way too passive. And that goes back to the thing of him saying the team coaches themselves by this time of the year. I think so. Ku's asking why they haven't tried the bumper play. I think teams have really worked hard to take that away from us. And while we're good at it, we're not Stamkos Kucherov point good at it. The puck movement that Stamkos Kucherov point had with that bumper play was a step above in the speed department. We're good at it. Barkov, Tkachuk, Reinhart are at about a 7 or an 8, but Tampa ran that play at like a 10 plus. They were unstoppable. We're not unstoppable. It works if the other defense doesn't quite cover it, but they can take that away from us pretty easily because our puck movement's just not quite fast enough. Jameson says, Jaws, if I can only get one injured player back for game 5, it would be Mikkola. For me, it would be Mikkola. Yep. I'd put Sam. I would do what I said. I'd go Barkov for Hagee, Rodriguez, Bennett, Tkachuk, Sam Miskevich. But Mikkola, we need Mikkola out there. But we need him to be able to do his thing, too. Jay says, couldn't say anything when we went 4 out of 5, but now we've gone 0 since. Yeah. All right, David. Appreciate you, bud. Kate says, disappointing, yes, but not the end of the world. We can always get it tomorrow. On one hand, no disagreement. On the other hand, PTSD from Edmonton last year. You know what I mean? Thank you, Chris. He says, we're up 3-0 in the series. Why are we pulling the goalie at the end of the game when they're beating us against the boards all game long? Well, I don't like the goalie pull anyway. I understand it. And I understand that there's times when absolutely yes. But on a night when they have had, the Carolina has had the stick on the puck all night long, and we've been losing every board battle, it was just any chance we had of coming back was going to be 5-on-5 if one of our big guys made a shot. We knew, anybody that watched that game knew within 13 seconds of that net being empty, the puck was going to go in the back of the net. Anybody that paid any attention to what was going on the ice knew as soon as Bob was out, Carolina was getting the puck and sending it. It was frustrating. IDK says if Tkachuk is getting double shifted, he likely isn't as injured as everyone claims. I think it's because Reinhardt's out. Chopper says, I've seen enough. Make Coot the new coach. Simon, I'm not so sure how the hockey pool is doing. It's the same at this point, because until any of the series end, until they end, there's no more points that are allotted as far as I know. Coot says Dallas had some success with cross ice feeds in front of the net, maybe some copycat league principles, and we try to adopt a new look. We need to mix something up because the power play isn't working. No disagreement. Now, Reinhardt not being there does hurt. There's no way around that. Why we went with Ekblad and Jones makes no sense at all. I get that they both have good shots, but we're not even playing it. Like, if you're going to have Ekblad and Jones, you should be setting up Ekblad on the circle for the one-timer. But instead, they're just like, both of them are hanging back by the blue line most of the time. Like, we're not even, like, all we're concerned about on the power play is not giving up a shorty. Julian, yeah. Coot says TNT shows some statistic going into game 4. Our power play was like 1 for 24 at home. I don't know. I know Kyle was screaming about that last night. Jameson says the goalie poll would have made a lot of sense if we were down by 2, but not 1. Yeah, I'm like, all right, just give us a chance, Paul. 5-on-5, it's still not like we were getting obliterated, right? It's 1-0. And it was just a one-on-one shot that Bob still could have made the save, and it could have been 0-0. But he any chance of a comeback ended as soon as Bob was out of the net. Simon, yep, yeah, we're doing a game tonight for sure. Hold on. Oh, okay, hold on a second. Hey, MJ, thank you, bud. Thank you, MJ. Says, happy Tuesday, Jaws. Hope everyone had a great Memorial Day. Vegas has been absolutely lovely. What happened? Here we go. Cats couldn't get it done in game 4, so we'll just have to do it in game 5. Headlines in a moment. Thank you, MJ. Thank you, buddy. Donna says, hey, guys, don't lose hope on them. Like, I know it was disappointing and honestly disrespectful towards the fans, but they've proven to be a better team throughout this series. Yeah, at this moment, I'm not overly concerned about the series, though anything can happen. I'm more concerned, and I said this in the recap, I'm more concerned about what this means if we do end up playing, especially Edmonton, in the finals. Like, you would have thought that they would have learned their lesson and came out yesterday. If we go out yesterday and we play our best game and Carolina beats us, okay, we lose 2-1, 3-2. Okay, but you played your game and made Carolina beat us. Carolina played a whale of a game, and we just Julian thinks Bennett should be on the power play 1 or Marchand. I'd like to see Marchand there. Yeah. More anyway. Kuz says Barkov is also much better at the high points where Ekblad is playing. It honestly surprises me that we're not putting Verhaeghe power play 1 with Reinhardt out since he's our sniper. Yeah. Hopefully it's going to get moved around. Hopefully it's going to get moved around. Trey. Oh, Jake. Did they have a Dolphin drummer last night? Oh, God. Well, shit. If I would have known that, I would have put money on Carolina before the puck dropped. Who'd they have out there, Jake? No. It's 0-6 when one of them losers bang the drum. Jeez. Because they're not showing it on TV, right? Trey says, let Messi hit the drum. KRG, yeah, shoot the puck, right. Gotcha. Thank you, MJ. Yeah, let Paul Laws hit it. Hey, JC. Donna says, Bobrovsky had a great game. Any of those shots were destined to go in with how well the Canes were playing. Can't even blame him. His body language after the second goal expressed his feelings. Yeah. Yeah, really. That was – Bob showed up, but it was a poorly played game and a poorly coached game, my opinion. My opinion. That's all. You know? Zach Sealer? Are you? Oh my God. Really? Like, there's nobody else. There's no some former Panther. Why do we have Zach Sealer banging the drum? Come on. The Panthers have gotten so good with their in-game and social media. They've gotten so good. But you couldn't have had somebody else out there that, hell, put Okposo out there. He's retired. Bring Okposo out there as a throwback to last year and have him bang the drum. Zach Sealer, jeez. JC, yeah, I caught that. Maurice said Bob was horrible in the last 2 goals. Yeah, I caught that. I saw that, Jake. Yeah, I seen somebody made a comment that said Maurice put threw Bob under the bus. It's like even under those circumstances, Maurice was obviously being sarcastic. I didn't like the last 2. Like Silva says we weren't playing horribly, just bad enough to where Carolina should force us into their system. Oh, I completely agree in that aspect. My point is that what that should have been was them playing their best game versus us playing our best game, because they should have learned their lesson from what happened at Edmonton and then last week or whenever it was against Toronto in Game 6. Like, they just went through this. That's my concern. It's not that we weren't playing terrible. It's that I assumed that they would have gotten together and be like, let's make sure take no chances, and just gone out there last night and played like maniacs. But instead, they kind of tried. They thought maybe they could get away with a cheap one. Yeah, Kuz says Dolphins don't know anything about the playoffs, so they shouldn't touch the drums, right? Simon, what do I think about Marner? I don't think yet. I think there's next to zero chance he's coming to Florida. I think any rumors about him going to Florida is I don't want to have egg on my face at some point, but I've never been one to shy away from my opinion. I think any talk of him coming to Florida is made up. He is so not the Panthers type of player. That's not the Panthers type of contract. It would make no sense whatsoever for us, for the type of player he is and the money he's going to demand. Now, Vegas, that sounds about right. Kenneth says Pomo is right on. Bob wasn't even close on the last two. He didn't even build a snowball like Fleury used to. Come on, Bob. Oh, yeah. Fleury was a good dude. JC says, so we went to Broken Bow for the long weekend, and I left my Panthers Stanley Cup champions hoodie in the drawers and didn't realize it until we got home yesterday. Now they sell for $95, and I want to cry. Holy crap. Hey, thank you, MJ. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, MJ. All right, let's see. Sports headlines. Tragic car attack in Liverpool soccer celebration. Michael Pekka and Anders Sorensen named Blackhawks assistants coaches. Caitlin Clark got 2 weeks for injury. And Mary Lou Retton arrested for DUI. Wow. That's a name from the past. Everybody who had a Mary Lou Retton Wheaties box, send me $1 million. Which one of you didn't have a Mary Lou Retton Wheaties box? I guess you guys are, I'm a lot older than you guys, so scratch that comment. Marner and Bennett have the same agent. Ugh. Freddie Freeman donating $1 million to the Children's Hospital. That's cool. So I can't imagine we would be interested in Marner. That just doesn't make any sense. Chavez says, put Luongo to beat the drum, put Bill Zito in the locker room screaming at them, and put Maurice behind bars talking to the Panthers players via PA system, but Nosek would bark off and rebuild the third line. Oh, jeez. Chopper was drinking early this morning. Ekholm's out for game 4. I see. Silva says, rumors that Marner is interested in Vegas and Florida, not that Vegas and Florida showing interest. I very highly believe Marner goes to Chicago or San Jose. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Vegas, they're not – he would fit kind of what they do, but any team that thinks Marner is the missing piece is in for a foolishness surprise, right? Now, I know that Calgary made the deal they had to make, but I still remember what the Calgary media and team, they were selling Huberdeau as though he was the guy that was going to take the team on his back and bring them back to the playoffs and maybe even win a cup. And we all here in Florida knew, like, Huberdeau's a really nice player, but he's not that dude. And Marner just reminds me of that. Like, somebody's going to get fooled into thinking this is the guy that's going to make a difference, going to get them over the hump. I can't think. Now, he'd fit maybe in Montreal because of what they got going, right? He'd be a nice ad for the Canadiens. And plus, because it doesn't look like they're going to play a super physical style. Mike says, I doubt Carolina replicates that type of game. I don't think they could do it for 4 straight games. They wouldn't have any body parts left with all the blocks. That was frustrating as hell. Pente says, Cats need Mikula back. No disagreement there, man. Matthew says, yeah. Mary Lee Redden, Carrie Sturr, and Nadia Kamensky. Yeah. Yep. Wasn't there one more? There was one more gymnast back when that stuff was really popular. Adonis says, I hate when Bennett does the McDavid skating up the middle of the ice only for the puck to be stripped from him. Dude is not responsible sometimes. It makes me question keeping him. I mean, every hockey player has their thing, right? Like, every hockey player, with the exception of like maybe 3 guys, has that weakness, the one thing that they maybe keep trying, like Ekblad with the toe drag last night, right? Trying to think about what Barkov. Barkov, every once in a while, he'll try a little too hard to keep the puck along the boards. I mean, these are minor things, right? Barkov will pass too much sometimes. Kachuk with his injury, his passes are wildly off. Thank you, MJ. ESPN doesn't like Caitlin. Yeah, I don't even think I've ever seen like 2 minutes of a WNBA game. But I don't watch the NBA either. Just basketball is just not my thing. Chopper says Marner can come to Florida if he signs for league minimum. All the outdoor tickets go on sale, right? Hey, Rocket Man. Says Canes fan perspective, it was a little surprised when fans started leaving after the second goal. Panthers put up 4 and 5 minutes in game 3. Didn't feel at all relaxed until the 3-0 goal. That comes from knowing how the team was playing. Like I took the rally cap off after the second goal. It just came from knowing how the team. We've seen this movie before. We got shut out a bunch this year. And generally speaking, if you watch the shutouts, they're carbon copies. The exact same things happen. We're not forechecking hard. The other teams got their stick on a lot of pucks because the forwards aren't really skating all that well. The passes are a little bit off. The power play is terrible. Other team plays well, but like the same 4 or 5 things happen every time we get shut out. And generally speaking, in those games, we got shut out, and they don't. So I understand what you're saying because we've scored goals before like that, but no, man, they should have never emptied the net. They should have just any chance we had to win in that game was going to come on 5-on-5. In my opinion, JC's got to buy a ticket for the wife, the dog, and yourself. Chopper says, bring back Huberdeau by passing him around the entirety of Canada to lower his trade value to $1 million. Owls, yeah, the Panthers are now 0-6 when Dolphins player banged the drums. Even though the dog flies free, we always buy an extra ticket to take the entire row. Very nice. Very cool, JC. Donis, I appreciate that. Yeah, man. Yeah, this was I like this. No disrespect at all, but I'm enjoying this way more than just doing the videos with Stu. I'm enjoying being able to do this because during the games I don't get to interact as much with you guys, obviously, because we're watching the game. So this was I've made some dumb moves. This wasn't one of them. Mike says Carolina really found a gem in Slavin, but he can't do that every game. Without him, we win that game 6-0 again. A lot of block shots. There's no doubt about that. I hope so too, JC. We're getting close. We're getting close. Making the stream subscriber only is obviously helping. I don't feel bad about that, right? Donna says, Uvis made one possibly bad pinch that could have led to a breakaway, but it was mostly fine. Mikla is needed. Yeah. Mouthwash Backstrom, Samuskevich. Well, since you got Samuskevich in the lineup twice, Silva. There we go. Thank you, MJ. Thank you, MJ. Thank you, bud. World headlines, rest in peace. Phil Robertson from Duck Dynasty. Yeah, Kyle was telling me about that. Southwest Airlines going to start charging for bags. That's my airline. That's it. I can't go. Damn it. Demi Lovato got married. Vaccines are no longer required. Harvard not allowing foreign students. Harvard not allowing foreign students. You mean like they have to be a citizen? Can you explain that one? I'm curious about that one. I mean, like on visas. I heard about the Phil Robertson one. Yeah. And the Southwest Airlines, what do you mean they're going to start charging for bags? How the hell am I going to fly down there now? That's it. Isn't allowed to admit international students. Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, MJ. Thank you again, bud. Bill says Conn Smythe Mikula. Yeah. Oh, so what you're saying the administration was telling him not to. I see. Gotcha. IDK, I agree. Panthers needed to pick up the physicality too, but I think they were trying to get off cheap. I think they thought maybe they could steal one, sweep the series, and be done. Hey, bunch of jerks. No, it was a good game. It was a good game. I'm glad you guys, I'm not gonna say I'm glad you guys won a game, but 0-16 is a pretty, I mean, that's the flip side that nobody's talking about. Like on a human level, I kind of feel okay for Canes fans. At least they don't have to go around in here at 0-16. That's a lot. That's a lot. No more, not even one free bag on Southwest. MJ, that you're gonna have to fix that, MJ. Change that. Can't have that kind of, no, that's not okay. You've heard Kuznetsov is making his NHL return. What if we bagged him? I don't know. I mean, I don't know where anybody would go that we would get. You know what I mean? Because, oh, and by the way, I don't want to get too off. I mean, this is on topic, but because we've been talking about what if we lose Bennett, and we've been saying, well, we would have Lundell at 2C, and then we wouldn't know what we would do with Luosterainen because would we move him up with Lundell? But the way that Maurice was talking about Luosterainen in one of his interviews a couple of days ago, I got the sneaky impression that if we lost Bennett, we might go Barkov, Lundell, Luosterainen, because Luosterainen is a center. Remember, he played 4C most of the season when we won the President's Trophy. So I just wonder. I wonder if Zito, if they already kind of feel like they have an in-house replacement there, and it would just be Barkov, Lundell, Luosterainen. The way Maurice was talking about it, it really made me perk up and think, oh, wait a minute. We might think we already have that problem solved if Bennett walks. Chopper says Cruz would cook on the second line with Kachuk and Bennett. That's Sam Miskevich's job, Chopper. MJ says, I wish there was a way for me to reverse Southwest decisions. You'll try to figure out something. I appreciate that. That can't be. I don't want to have to fly Spirit. I want to get there alive. Why'd I got to do that, man? Just raise the price of the ticket. And then don't tell anybody. You know what I mean? Just make the ticket $20 more. Nobody will pay attention. But paying for bags, now I'm going to have to pack one bag instead of two. What a pain in the nuts. Kevin says, I just don't get how with so much at stake you come out flat. You win, you're going to the Cup. Ask Marchand how hard it is to get back. You can't take this moment lightly. Yes, 1,000%. That was exactly my feeling last night in the recap. It's like, how did you live through what you did in Edmonton and come out there tonight and not just be like absolutely making sure, like if you back out of your garage and you destroy your garage door because you forgot to raise the garage door, what are you going to do every single time after that when you back out of your garage? You're going to forget the rear view mirror. You're going to turn around and make sure the door is open. And you might even forget that you looked, and you're going to look back again and make sure the door is open. So how they did that last night is just beyond me. I ain't never going to understand. Yeah, I agree with Coot. Yeah, let's just let Mackey take those reps. Exactly. Matt MJ, you're a United Airlines guy. Yeah, no, I'm the cheapest ticket available guy. Except for Spirit. I draw the line. I draw the line at Spirit. I used to fly American, then stop because of a bad incident in Dallas. Right. Yeah, at least I'm not flying on Frontier. Alaska Airline. I've flown them before too. Yeah. Who says, yeah, I really imagine Leuston would slide in a 3C and we could bring in a wing with some speed because those are easier to find than a solid center. Yeah, we hadn't even talked about it here, but once Maurice talked about it, so that might be a situation there. I mean, I don't want to lose Bennett, but Jack says Seattle wants Marner and Bennett both, and in talks with agent who will get Marchand. Well, let's put it this way: if Florida loses Bennett, they would have the money to pay Marchand. That is one possible way to look at it, right? And he could even, like we just talked about with Luosterainen, he might even still just play with Luosterainen at center, and then all you would need is a left wing, a good young, fast third line left wing. I don't know if Sordiff would fit that bill or not, but it's possible. But if we lose Bennett, we'll have the money to sign Marchand. We could just give him what he wants. Not that I want it to happen. Hey, Heather, how you doing? Not wanting to be swept with stronger emotion draw than wanting to move on. Yep, so it would seem, right? Adonis, you did not. He said, guys, it was my fault we lost. I said out loud to my dad, we're putting 5 goals on Anderson. And of course, he had his 5th playoff shutout, zipping the shit talk until we win this series. Thank you. Get it? Yeah, yes, the stove is off, but am I really sure? So, Kevin, you say, and it's Kevin on the members podcast, I talk about that a little bit. He's saying that we don't close out the games like this. It seems like a coaching problem in these moments. To me, it kind of feels like that whole letting the team coach itself thing that Maurice does. I just think every once in a while he could interject a little bit. You are the head coach. Like every once in a while in a game like last night where you see the team doesn't have it, maybe, hey, wake up. Castle says, what do I think the Stars have to do what do they have to do to be better tonight? They're going to need more effort from the bottom. I think you need to kind of key on expending your energy with your top guys on just trying to slow down McDavid and Draisaitl, and then get some scoring from your depth players. Because, I mean, Harley was horrible the last game. Rantanen defensively was horrible the last game. They're not working hard enough to beat this team. And if you don't work hard enough against Edmonton, it's not, you don't lose 3-2. You lose 6. They're going to score 5 or 6 a night. They'll make you pay. So they've got to work harder. And DeBoer's got to stop trying to blame referees and stuff and be a little bit more of a, some more accountability from DeBoer, I think would go a long way too. Chris, yeah, the empty nets. Carolina was doing that all night long. The only chance we had to tie in that game was if we could get a little bit of possession in the zone and get a deflection or make something happen. There was still 2.5 minutes left or whatever it was. But like I said earlier, anybody that watched that game for 5 minutes could see that as soon as the net was empty, Carolina was just going to outwork us, get the puck, and send it down there. Silva, I know, Boquist looked good. And then, yeah. Eyes, Owen Tippett. Oh my God, that's the left wing you're talking about. Yeah. So Kevin says Bennett isn't going anywhere. I think he stays. I think Zito and Benny already decided to worry about it after the season. I think I heard him say that earlier. Okay. I agree. And Rick says Bennett would stay. I think everything's perfect here. I'll agree with you there, Kevin. Ekblad leaves before Bennett does because I don't know where the money to pay Ekblad's coming from. Like Ekblad's would be out more money than Bennett. Like if we have to pay Bennett 7 and he wanted 9, but for Ekblad, I don't know where. I mean, if you pay Bennett 7, Ekblad's really going to max out at like 5, and he would probably get more than 5 on the open market. What Trey says Lundell centering Kachuk and Verhaeghe, and E2 centering Mackey and Marchand sounds like a pretty good middle 6. Lundell centering Kachuk and Verhaeghe, and E2 centering Mackey and Marchand. I could work with that. But then you've got Barkov, Reinhart, and who? Are you just leaving Rodriguez there, Trey? Are you leaving Rodriguez up top? Who says, all right, the Cats got to play with the food a little, but next game is back to business. Let's walk into their barn, play our game, win, move on, and rest up for the Cup Finals. Yep. Hey, thank you, MJ. Thank you, bud. So who will Bill Zito trade for next year? You mean which team's captain? You know Trey's going to say Sid. You know Trey's going to say Sid. Hal says Ekblad kind of feels like the captain, though Barkov is a little bit timid. I mean, look, if Ekblad can stay, if we can pay him what we need to pay him to stay, I'm for it. It's just not going to be all that much. He's making, I think, 7.5 now, and I don't see how we pay him that. I don't see how Ekblad stays without taking a pay cut, unless we lose Bennett. We either can sign all 3 guys or only 2 of them, depending on how much money they want. So, Trey, yeah, in that scenario, Erod would stay up too. Thank you again, MJ. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, in terms of who Zito would trade for next year, I guess it would just depend on our need at that point, right? It's hard to say until we know what the players we're going to have, and injuries. Because we don't know about Kachuk as well, too, right? For all we know, he needs he needs surgery after the season, and for all we know, he might be out for a long time next year. I would hope just get surgery, take a rest, go on LTIR. We can use your money, and then magically come game 1 of the playoffs, should be ready to go. I'm sure nobody in the league will have a problem if we do that. I'm positive. We're loved. Everybody loves the Panthers. Nobody hates us at all. MJ says Zito's been making blockbuster moves the last couple of years, so he's probably going to do it again. We're also running out of players and things to trade because everybody's got no move clauses. Barkov, Verhaeghe, Reinhart, no move clause. If you sign Bennett, he's probably going to get a no move clause, right? You don't want to trade Sam Miskevich because that'll piss me off, and I know Zito takes great care in making sure I'm happy. We're out of first round picks until I'm like 70. I don't know. I don't think Austin, MJ. No, I don't see that happening. I don't think, even if Toronto was ever going to trade Austin Matthews, they're not going to trade him to Florida. They would trade him to the West. Craig says sort of right wing time to move up too. No, and that's a whole nother thing. We're in good shape. Now, Tavares, MJ, that's an interesting thing. that is an interesting thought. If we lost Bennett, if they would go after Tavares, I don't know. He's not that young of a guy. Probably not. They might think about it, but we'd still have to pay him some money too. You know what I mean? But Telron says, have Ekblad's wife supply the team with HGH and accept the hometown discount. I still want to say it's Ekblad's fault. MJ says McKinnon will look great in the Panthers jersey, right? Yeah, I kind of agree. I agree with you about wanting to get a little bit younger, Craig. Owls, I thought he was in the top 3. No, I get it, MJ. Yeah. I don't think there's going to be any big deals that way because I think we're running out of guys. We don't have the same need that we did, you know what I mean, previously. Kevin says maybe Reinhardt needs surgery. That looked like an MCL injury. That's what I suspected. That's another possibility too, right? I mean, there's a reason why Maurice didn't want to throw him out there yesterday at less than 100%. You need Reinhardt. We could still do it, Paul. We can win a game with Barkov for Hagee, Rodriguez, and then Samoskevich next to Bennett. We could still win a game, Paul. Trey says Ekblad's going to sign with the Kings and spend all his time at the Golds in Venice Beach. Oh, Simon, if I could travel anywhere right now, I'd go back to Alaska. That's an easy call for me. I would go to Alaska over the summer. Ekblad and Arnold making gym talks. So MJ thinks the Leafs core is going to break up. All of them are going elsewhere. I think that's a mistake on their end. I mean, if they're going to let Marner walk. But if they kept it all together and just replaced Marner with a different type of player, they don't need Sam Bennett. Why would they need Sam Bennett? Yeah, Tavares is a free agent. Yeah. I mean, he could provide some leadership, but I don't think we need it, to be honest with you. I think especially now when you consider we've got Jones, I kind of feel like we've got a pretty gritty, grizzled veteran group. Kenneth says if we lose Bennett, we need someone who brings the wood. Bennett is our lumberjack. Yeah, he had a massive hit behind the net the other night or last night. Thank you, MJ. Thank you. He says, question of the day, will the Canadian team ever win a cup? If so, what team will it be? Well, I know Trey's going to say the Montreal Canadiens. For me, I kind of agree with Trey. Now, of course, I'm saying that because if it's Florida and Edmonton this year, obviously I'm not going to say Edmonton. Now, if Florida beat Edmonton again this year, could Edmonton come and make it to a third straight finals in a row as long as we're out there? It's possible. It's possible. It's hard for me to see McDavid never getting one. But I just don't think it's going to happen this year because I'm not going to allow for it because it can't happen. We shouldn't let it happen. Hey, thank you, Kevin. Thank you, bud. Thank you, Kevin. He says, Jaws, I need your podcast to be 24 hours after losses for mental health support. Oh, man. How spoiled have we gotten, though, Kevin, right? Like, Lucas was at the game last night. We talk about it all the time. Lucas from Rats on the Ice. And we talk about it, and it's just like where we come from as a franchise to now we're sitting here this morning frustrated that we didn't sweep the Eastern Conference Finals en route to 3 straight Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, from the outside looking in, it must be pretty. I'm sure they have a word for it. Who's hating one player, Michael? What did I miss? I'm not touching that. Oh, Donna says, I want Boquist out of the lineup. He has one great game and disappears in the next. He's done that twice now. I wouldn't mind Boquist in the fourth line. I think Boquist should have been in Greer's spot. If he can't play again this next time, I would assume that hopefully he'll make that change. Craig says she'll go Flames. The internet's going out again. Jeez. It had been perfect for days in a row. Like for 2 days, we had no problem. I just real quick back out and come back in. Just bear with me. I'll be back in less than 30 seconds. Sometimes. Wait. Think it's coming back. Okay, it came back. There we go. All right. I got to call them up again and just bitch and complain. All right. Michael says, why not just get rid of everyone if they have one bad game? I think his point is that Boquist is not a consistent top-line player. It is kind of odd that that's happened twice now. Boquist has been in the top for a game, scored a goal, important goal, and then the next game been so bad that he had to get removed off of that line. It's really, really interesting how that's worked out. And for me, I just wish Samoskevich would have been there to give us more roster flexibility when that happened. That's all. Thank you, Patel. Yeah, it came back. It came back. We're good. Tony says, I'll say it, Crosby's defense has declined over these seasons, but his offense and IQ is unquestionable. I don't know. I don't see. I mean, I guess somebody's bullying him in the chat. Yeah, Boquist, he's just not a top-line player. That's all. He's not a nightly top-line player. I think Maurice should have planned accordingly. If he knew there was a possibility he might switch, Marchand's really not the best move because now you blow up that third line, and Marchand's probably not top-line player at this point either. You know what I mean? Well, Michael, I think the point being is that if he's a top-line player, generally speaking, like you're not going to make a lot of adjustments to take Barkov or Reinhart out of the game. You know what I mean? I just think that if you're Maurice, let's go by your assessment that the other team's going to make an adjustment, and that it already has happened again previously. I think that if you're Maurice, you need to prepare for that appropriately, and I just don't think Sturm should have been the guy that was in. That's all. Sean, yeah, pretty much, right? Yeah, no, I get it, Michael. Hey, thank you, MJ. Thank you, bud. Thank you, MJ. Which former NHL head coach would I want as an advisor assistant? You said Daryl Sutter. Oh, boy, that's a name. You mean like for the Panthers? What I want as an advisor assistant for the Panthers? Which former NHL coach would I want? Huh. You say Sutter because he won 2 cups with the Kings and turned the Flames around. Yeah, I had to think about that. Huh. I had to think about that. Yeah. Rick says, call me insane. Torts. Oh, Sean says Brendan Shanahan. That makes sense. SoFlo, yeah. I mean, they've looked that way. That's how they looked in Game 6 against Toronto as well. Just fumbling the puck, whiffing on the shot, taking the extra pass. Exactly. All night long. It was very frustrating. Very frustrating. Rick, can you imagine Torts and Maurice on the same bench? Yeah, that's what Trey just said. Torts, joint press conferences with Pomo and Torts. They'd probably end up fighting each other. Maurice said in his post-game press conference that there was a lesson to be learned. Maybe they finally got the message to finish the series when you can. I would hope so. I would hope so, right? Sovolo says a lot of silver linings to this loss. If we're able to close it out Wednesday, maybe they needed this loss. As long as we stay healthy. As long as we stay healthy, you know. Sean, I was pretty frustrated last night with just the entirety of the effort. Is Torts basically the modern day Mike Keenan? I don't know. That's a good analogy, though. It was actually a name I was thinking about bringing up. It's a good analogy. Yeah, Kevin. Yeah, it was the whole team. Even our top players fumbled passes all night. No doubt. No doubt. IDK, what would be the solution to Carolina's play last night? Have the forwards play their game. I mean, Maurice said it best, you know, when they were talking about the Panthers fumbling the pucks and the Canes having sticks on pucks and breaking up passes. He says that tends to happen when the puck carrier's not moving their feet. MJ says Mike Keenan would be a terrible choice. Yeah, Pomo and Torts podcast, Trey. Oh, my God. Hey, that's a good name. Trots. Greg, yeah. Gretzky for power play coach might work, Trey. Right? Sovolo says, I'm a firm believer that too much rest is a bad thing. We had a rest between the Lightning and Leafs, and we got a 2-0 series hole. 0 rest between the Leafs and Canes, and we steamroll 3-0. I can't disagree with that. I understand that. Keenan destroys organizations. Yeah, there you go, Sean. He says, we lost because of the refs. We'll blame them. MJ, yeah, you think Keenan coached something like 12 teams in the span of 20 years? He couldn't hold his job down because he wanted to be more than just a coach. No, that's true. That's true. Let me look that up. I got an extra minute here. We're long today, but that doesn't matter. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on, Kyle. I'm still streaming. So, Philadelphia, Chicago, the Rangers, St. Louis, Vancouver, Boston, Florida, Calgary. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams in 25 years, 24 years. Yeah. 8 teams in 24 years, just about, MJ. So, but there was a stretch there where he couldn't hold down anybody for quite some time. Mike says Maurice would go to a different team if anybody came to him telling me that he needed an advisor. That's for sure. That's for sure. He actually was mowing the grass, Adonis. Yeah, Keenan coaching in China and yeah, there's a video on him, MJ. There's a YouTube video I watched. I think over the summer, Kyle had found it. I think it was on Keenan. I don't remember the name of it, but there's a YouTube video that kind of chronicles what you're talking about and him getting just basically run out of town everywhere he went. Yeah, Mike says, yeah, Florida, man. The problem is that we played the exact same way for 3 games in the Cup Finals last year. Yeah, last thing, that's before I get ready to go. That's my concern with last night is after what happened with Edmonton last year for those 3 games, a lot of what we're talking about here is it's just 1 game, et cetera, and then we lost 5 and 6, and it wasn't really, and we was getting wiped out. So I'm just a little bit concerned that they didn't learn that lesson, and we maybe have to go play Edmonton again. It's like you can't throw games away. Hockey says we lost because they came out not ready to play. That's on the coach and the players. The Canes would have been done if we came out and scored early and played physical. We gave them hope. Exactly. I agree 100% with it. I mean, we only lost 1-0. Forget the empty nets. The Canes played fantastic. We played meh at best, and it was still just 1-0. Michael, they may be good away. They may be good enough to throw games away against these teams in the East, but I don't think they're good enough to throw games away against Edmonton. That's my concern, that they didn't lose. They didn't learn their lesson. Sean, I think Dallas is going to win tonight. I think Dallas is going to win tonight just to piss off Panther fans who are happy that we lost last night because we won't want rest. I'm not saying that's what I want to happen. I'm saying in terms of Panther fans saying, well, now we won't get so much rest, that pretty much guarantees that Dallas will win tonight and extend the series. Yeah, exactly. At least it wasn't 8-3. Yeah. So, all right, everybody, I got to roll. Kyle's looking for me for something. He's wondering why I'm late. Thank you all very much for hanging out. Much, much, much love and appreciation for all the super chats. And tonight, 8 o'clock, stress-free hockey. All right? Everybody just show up. No shirt, no shoes, no booze, no service. We're cool. We're cool. We're cool. If we lose game 5, though, I'll shave my head. Lose game 5, I might shave the beard. I won't do it. I won't shave the beard. I won't. All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.